Hey, this is your boy Daniel Lyndon Evans, and you are inside the den, and the next episode starts right now.
What a time, what a time, what a time for a black man to be alive. Living in the struggle while trying to keep our composure. Killing each other while trying to look for that exposure. We all just want to make it, we should do it as a team. Build each other up and they can't even say a thing. Me and all my brothers just stuck together like glue. It's us against the world and you know what we finna do. Woo! Pop a bottle, we in here for celebration. We just wanna be the leaders that's pushing the generation. Take a seat and find your zone for the topic of conversation. Find a way for a positive revelation. Now this really ain't the time to be thinking about yourself, cause we just a bunch of hustlers that's trying to give out some help. We turn the cubs into lions inside of the den. Come and join the brotherhood.
We want to thank you all for rocking with us this season, season 2 of the show. And it has been a great journey going over the last 3 or 4 months doing the show. But we want to take this time and just thank you all for joining us this season. But we want to take a look back at some of the greatest moments of season 2 and some of the highlights of the show that made the show what it was. Thank you all for joining us for Inside the Den season 2. Enjoy the video, and we'll see you all next season, season 3 of Inside the Den, coming soon. Peace and blessings. We're super excited to be here today. It has been a long time coming, and I have with me one of my very special guests. He is a hometown local celebrity here, Mr. J-Lock. Introduce yourself, brother.
I don't know how locals. I'm not even from Raleigh, but yo, what's up? How y'all doing? I am J-Lock, CEO of Alpha by J-Lock, recording artist, songwriter, all-around rock star, you know.
Making the same mistake that I made. You know, being in the military, you know, being in law enforcement, I've been to prison, for y'all who don't know, was completely lost everything, went from zero to the bottom, you know, and to where I am now, which is not my final destination, but it's a long way away from I'm pretty sure the same thing for you, coming up, you know, broken, you know, kind of stuff, and now you're at a level of success where you were looked at as being a local celebrity here in Triangle.
You know, it's funny because Triangle, I've always said, I'm from Greenville, North Carolina, and Greenville, I'm definitely, a lot of folks know me. My goal has always been to get the rest of the world like Greenville. I want everybody to, but it's not even for me per se. It's more so like Alpha. Alpha is bigger than me. It's a brand, it's a lifestyle, it's movement. It's how you feel when you put the being product in. Even with the shirt.
For y'all who don't know, you smell this fragrance, just the smell of it gives you like 10% confidence in what you're doing. I don't care where you're at.
You could be bald and your beard can be messed up. You feel like that hair's in there full. And that is down to you feel like you got that going.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, the level of confidence. And so when people wear the shirts, the merchandise, everything I do is about empowerment.
Somebody wrong you call 911, and the police will come out and do a report, and they may even have to arrest somebody. But then that person they arrest go to court and they get their justice in court. That used to be the old protocol of to get justice. But what's going to happen now when that protocol has changed? Because we can't call the police because the police might end up killing you. You take matters in your own hands and somebody try to conduct a citizen's arrest and kill you, and they get away with it, and they go to trial only to find out that your life doesn't matter at all. Your life doesn't matter as much as we think it do to certain people. But, you know, we have Black Lives Matter. But let me give you one better now. So your mind says that this is what it is. Your body will start to develop symptoms of this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've experienced that on many different occasions where I thought something, and because I thought it, my whole body reacted to it.
You are what you think about it.
You know what I mean? They say you are what you eat, but you are what you think.
Yeah.
So a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That's in the Bible. So whatever you think about in your mind, it becomes your reality. It's a reason why it's so important. And I understand the purpose of Facebook. I understand the purpose of Instagram. I understand the purpose of all these social media platforms. I understand, you know, motivating yourself and pumping yourself up. It's almost getting to the point now. It's almost necessary to pump yourself up, because you have to fight against the mental depression that's going around. That's the real pandemic.
It's spreading like a cancer.
That's the real pandemic, not the disease, but the depression that's going across the land.
That's why it was the isolation.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because the problem is this: if you're not listening to motivating things all day, you stand a chance of falling victim to what everybody is going through. So I made a post a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember exactly what it was. I would have to go to my Facebook to see it. But I said, loving yourself is not considered conceited or narcissistic. That means that you have pride in who you are. You are, you know, you love yourself, self-worth. You have to give yourself something, because the whole world is against you.
Yeah.
So if posting, and I'm like saying, I was on the wrong side of the fence for a long time, and I still am very, you know, very limited to what kind of stuff I do post. But if you ain't posting something that's giving yourself some love, man, you ain't gonna get it from nowhere else. If you don't have that core people in your life that you go to get strength from, you ain't getting no strength, because the whole world is against you.
Yeah.
Everybody wants you to be on some kind of drug. You know what I'm saying? They done legalize weed in certain states, but the only way they're gonna legalize it in all states is if everybody start acting like they need the weed.
Yeah. Like cigarettes.
Yeah. I discovered that cigarettes is up to $7 a pack now. How can you afford to smoke cigarettes with the gas prices is $4 a gallon and cigarette prices is $7 a doggone pack?
I don't get it.
I don't get it, but this is the thing. Eventually, if everybody needs a drug, they got to legalize it. Because nobody can cope. People are developing these anxieties that they have to have some type of drug to cope with life. And weed is the one that they choose to go to. Self-medicated. You know what I'm saying? Medicinal. Is this medicinal weed? They got Arkansas is a medicinal weed state. You can't even buy weed in Arkansas without a medical card. The drug dealers got scanners now scanning your cards to make sure you can buy this weed, because if they get caught up, they going to jail. They ain't playing with you. Even the little gas station weed, it's a non-smoke. They got dry states where they don't serve alcohol. Arkansas is a medicinal, right? Medicinal state. Got to have a medical card.
Medicinal.
With these guys, and we're doing something we ain't supposed to. Like just whatever your favorite crime is. We'll just say we're in here smoking weed, and then you come in, and but like it's not your place. Like we're in my house or something. Because it's different if we're in here doing that, and you don't want us in here doing that, and you can just be like, get the fuck out. oh man, we gotta go. So we're in my house, and you show up, and we're smoking weed, and you don't agree with it. You don't think we should be doing it, but you're not gonna do it. Like, that's not your thing. You're not gonna partake. But we're friends, and you still want to be a part of the group, so you sit down. If there's, 5 of us in the room, 4 people smoking weed, and you're not, and then you leave, and it's in your clothes, and you stop by the gas station, nobody's going to say that guy smells like he was in a room with a bunch of people smoking weed. He's going to say he smells like he was smoking weed. Mm-hmm. If the cops bust us for smoking weed, and then you're in there, like I was an MP, I showed up all the time, and people were like, oh, it wasn't me, whatever. They're not going to be, oh, well, I wasn't smoking, just they were smoking. And the cops be like, okay, well, then you're good. No, they're arrested. Yeah, exactly. He said it before I got to it. Guilty by association. So at the end of the day, one of my biggest issues with all of these protests that took place, okay, and I'm gonna go back even further in history, but just starting with the past year and a half, is they all started with people walking and holding signs. During that hike in Raleigh, we walked by the courthouse. I don't think it had anything to do with law enforcement killing black people. I think it had to do with immigration, something or other. I didn't get a chance to read their sign. Yeah. So we walked by the Capitol, and this one dude at the front of the line turned around, made a beeline for the back. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't. I have no idea what it was about, but he just went through the entire hike and told all of us not to say anything. I don't know, because I mean, a shit ton of veterans walking. There were like 10 American flags, 10 Vet TV flags, 10. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So whatever it was, he just didn't want to start anything. But they were all quiet. They were holding signs. But then 6 o'clock hits, and Joe Schmo gets off at the gas station. 7 o'clock hits, and the hoodlums get done with their pregame party and show up. And now we're breaking windows, throwing Molotov cocktails. Where's the line? Where is the peaceful people are finished and went home, and then you have this whole other debacle where you have 100 people show up and conduct a peaceful protest with civility, holding a premise that pretty much everybody can get on board with. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're, once again, I was an MP. Somebody would say I wasn't a real cop. Most real cops were MPs first, so, whatever. But I don't think there is a justification for the number of killings by law enforcement, period. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is because I don't think it matters if you're black, white, purple, yellow, green, orange. Doesn't matter. I think that number could always be lower. Yeah. However, you show up, 100 people show up to a peaceful protest, 50 of them go home, another 50 show up to be the hoodlums and set fire to the city, and these 50 decide to stay and just fuck shit up with them. So it's like, which ones are which? Yeah. When you show up at the end of the day, it's like, you could call it most, but there's also no, like, if the 100 people showed up for the peaceful protest and they were able to complete it and leave in one location, and then this city over here got set on fire, that'd be one thing. But also notice, if all of us showed up with signs and did a peaceful protest in front of your building, and then at 5 o'clock we were like, all right.
It's just something that, like I say, I was meditating over that. And then my friend said something else that I posted on Facebook, and I want to talk about it. This man, he's been in the system, for a little while, so he's had a whole lot of time to think and evaluate his life, since he's been gone. But I grew up with him. I told on the live that he was my first sparring partner in my life. Like, me and him used to get in fights all the time. And he was my sparring partner. I was able to learn how to defend myself by fighting him, right? He was best friends, but we fought all the time. So he was like, you know how you adolescent teens, you know what I'm saying, you grow up, you wanna try to test your muscles and everything. So he was my sparring partner. This man said that, and I gotta give him credit because he came out and said it. He said, it's hard to have willpower when your spirit is controlled. He said that, man, that took me down. It's hard to have willpower when your spirit has been broken. Dude, you know that your spirit is what drives you to have the willpower. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I remember when I was coming up, my dad, told the story how he used to smoke. Back in the day, he was in Vietnam and all that kind of stuff. He used to smoke. He was talking about when he got saved, when God called him and saved him. You know what I mean? He had the willpower to stop smoking, like cold turkey. And he just prayed and asked God to relieve that. Hey, touch that phone right there, bro. A call came through, right? Exit out.
Not to get no view.
No, you can come around. But he was talking about willpower, right? He said that he had the willpower to stop smoking, right? Mm-hmm. And then fast forward years later, right before I got ready to go to the Marine Corps. Now when he first was smoking, it might have been let's say 70.
He's smoking weed.
Smoke cigarettes.
Oh.
Boy, if you don't get
cigarettes is a stronghold. You know people are addicted to cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
So he was
I just want to make it clear.
Cigarettes, man.
Okay.
Cigarettes. No, cigarettes.
You said Vietnam, brother. I thought
well, I mean, he might have smoked some weed too, but he was talking about his cigarette addiction.
Okay.
And he said he had the power to stop, his willpower to stop.
Just making sure.
And then, so it was years later, right before I got ready to go to Marine Corps boot camp, he had picked up smoking again, right? He's a minister, and he had been in the ministry, but around his time, he wasn't in the ministry as well. Or he was still a minister, but he wasn't active in the church. So I remember him saying to me, man, I say, man, look, I talked to my dad like, man, if you quit smoking before, what's the difference? Why you can't stop smoking now?
What is that?
He said, I had a lot of power back then. I had a lot of willpower back then. Like, what's the difference now? He was like, I ain't got it in me.
See?
His spirit was broken. So the willpower wasn't there because the spirit had to go. My mom was going through relationship issues, divorce, and all this kind of stuff. And he had a lot of other stuff going on that I ain't going to talk about right now. There'll be another show. But he had some things going on that wasn't conducive to the same power that he had back then. And I learned a valuable lesson from my dad, even then. When he said, I ain't got that same power I had before. I said, Dad, you possess the same power that you had to do. I said, I ain't never heard my daddy say he could not do something. But when he counted that cigarette, he said, I ain't got the same power. It's because his spirit was broken. I'll never forget that. He said, I can't quit. And to this day, I think he still smokes on occasion, but that was like 30-year. He quit for over 30 plus years and then went back to it because spirit is broken. A lot of things that we do for the addiction and everything, sometimes, and this is something that I learned spiritually, some demons, they play possum for a period of time. They ain't gone, they just playing possum. So you fake So you think that I done beat this thing. You think I done conquered it. And that's because he's dormant at the time. All of a sudden, when he wakes back up, then you go back. I thought I had. You didn't beat him. You just put him to sleep. You got to get rid of him. You got to get rid of him completely. Because I can tell you that if I want to get the best oranges in the world, what state am I going to go to? Florida. Because it's known for oranges, right? That's right. If I want to taste some of the sweetest, most plump peaches, where I'm going? Georgia. Matter of fact, if you driving through Georgia, if you look on the side of the highway, they just laid out on the side of the road like peaches is all over it. I said, what is peaches all over the doggone place? It's plentiful with peaches, right? If you want to stroke your luck, try your luck, and gamble, what state are you gonna go to? Going to Vegas, because that region is set up as a spiritual demonic region of those different things in Vegas. That sex, drug, alcohol, gambling, boom, that's Vegas. Even if you're not a gambler, this is a real story. Even if you're not a gambler, if you go to that state, the urge for you to gamble just kind of pops up. I don't know where this comes from. It's because if you want to get oranges, you go to Florida. If you want to get peaches, you go to Georgia. If you want to gamble, you go to Nevada. Not saying that oranges don't grow in California, but they grow their best in Florida. You can grow a peach in Mississippi, but it's going to be plump if you grow it in Georgia. So the things that we do, we have to understand that there is places that we can get those things done better, and there are things that we have to struggle to get it done. So if your life is not conditioned to have the willpower, if you got a bunch of negativity in your life, where's your willpower? Gone. Your spirit gonna be broken. If you tell your child that he's bad, you ain't no good, you a dirty son of a gun, you're gonna be just like your daddy, you're gonna be just like your granddaddy. You keep speaking these words to these kids, and eventually that's gonna manifest. And his spirit gonna be broken. He ain't gonna even try to be a good man. Cause he's like, you know what, I ain't gonna be able to make it. I ain't gonna be able to make it. Because he's already done took on that I ain't gonna make it attitude. Spirit is, if you, oh my God, in order to kill a man, you got to kill his spirit first. I'm telling you, the heart of a lion, as long as you can hear that lion roar, as long as that lion got a roar left in his body, he got a fighting chance. But if you kill the lion's spirit, kill the roar. You can kill him. Justice for they family. How you doing, brother?
Daniel, you doing well?
I'm doing awesome, brother. I'm just putting some thoughts together, man. I'm just thinking about these situations, man, and just kind of in my mind trying to think how people are feeling about these verdicts, man. You got one verdict that was not guilty, and then you got one verdict that was guilty. And in my mind, I'm just kind of feeling like I wonder how the family of the one that was found not guilty, I wonder how they feeling right now. They should be appalled. They should be very discouraged because, you know, their loved ones are not here because of somebody committed a crime. What do you think?
The problem I have is a 17-year-old with an AR-15. And like,
yes.
Well, you know, if that's where it started, and I have a lot of opinions on it, and you know, I've been in law enforcement over 30 years. I still am. And but from the get-go, I've got a problem with him not being a citizen of that state. And then,
hey, let me call you back. I'm on a live video. I'll call you back.
Him having an AR at 17, which he got, I guess, from a family member. If you start from there, those people would be alive.
Yeah. So why wasn't that a crime? Why didn't he get charged for crossing state lines with a weapon that was not registered in his name? Why was that not the crime? Why he didn't get charged on anything? Why was he found not guilty on everything?
The information I got, which is semantic splitting hairs, is that he got the rifle when he came over into Wisconsin, I guess from a family member, but still, no matter how you slice bologna, thick, thin, or julienne, it's bologna. At 17, hell, at 18, 19, he shouldn't have access to that. You know, normally it's 21 and above. So if you start just from the beginning, you know, then you have the other case where the 3 were found guilty, justifiably. I just don't understand people taking law enforcement matters into their own hands. Now,
that's
if it's
the thing.
my
residence, you feel like like the police can't do their job, so you taking it into your own hand. Even going back to you know, I can't Trayvon Martin situation. This guy took matters in his own hands. But here's the thing I want everybody to feel, and this is one of the things that I'm just
and I'm very critical of the police.
I know. I've been knowing you for a long time. I know how you operate, brother. But here's the thing, and this is the thing that some of these people got to understand. The way that the family feel right now for those men who was shot at that rally that didn't get no justice, the way they feel right now, where they should have got justice, is the same way that the Black Lives Matter feel for not getting justice for the people that we lose in the streets and can't get justice when it's somebody who actually, you know, defenseless people getting killed. That's not right on either side. But how do those families feel versus how the Black Lives Matter movement feel?
Oh, yeah.
That is a small portion of what we go through as a people every day when somebody gets shot and killed unjustifiable and don't get no America, brother. Trying to, you know, living in the struggle by trying to keep our composure. What are your thoughts on this situation, brother?
My thoughts was that first of all, when you go back to like you said earlier, for the families, it really wasn't no justice for the families. But personally, I think that the way they do things now, it seems to me that they're trying to revert back to the way they did things back when my dad, my grandfather, and all of them, the way they was raised around all this racism and stuff. And me, you, and anybody with common sense knows one thing: if that had been a black man that did that, if that would have been a black boy that did that, we already know that.
But the end result.
Oh yeah, they know the whole result would have been totally different.
But what do you think about the way they families feel right now for not getting justice? Isn't that equal to what we feeling for not getting justice for all?
Oh yeah, we see it every day in the black community.
So we have compassion for them, but
of course,
it's like welcome to the world of
our world.
Not getting justice.
Yeah, welcome to our world.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's crazy, man, because it's gonna come a time where you call the police, something happens. You don't call the police, something happens. What do you do, Unc? What do you do, Unc?
I mean,
what do you do?
You the only thing it is if you have to call the police, you just pray that the right guys or the right female in uniform shows up. That's going to actually
I just got chills, man, because it used to be a time where you can say, let the justice system do their job. Somebody do something to you, you call the police.
Used to be.
They go to court, and you say, let the justice system do their job. It's been time that you can do that. You can depend on the justice.
Yeah. It like I said earlier. It used to be a time.
You got these families grieving right now because they allowed this stuff to go to trial and allowed to go to, and they still didn't get it. So what do you tell these people after the justice system doesn't? Well, what do you tell these people?
Man, I don't know. I don't really know what you can tell a family that goes through that. I mean, do you lose faith in the justice system? I mean, do you
lose faith in the police, and now you lose the faith in the justice system.
Exactly. You took the word right out of my mouth. You took the word right out of my mouth. It's
gonna be like street justice now, because you come in my house and you threaten my. Now I got to put you down.
Well, you got to do that anyway. That's got to be done anyway.
Fights all the time, man, but he was always like my friend. Always been friends. So it was like friendly fights. I think what we was doing without even knowing it, we were just, it's like those two young cubs when they gotta spar with each other so they can see how to maneuver and how to get out of situations.
Yeah.
So I learned how to fight by fighting this dude. Like, I got two brothers, you know, that I fought with all the time, but at some point, there ain't no competition. Let me go and fight somebody who is not related to me or who can actually give me something extra. So this was my real life sparring partner as a child. We got to do a lot of,
Now that I think about it, you taught me how to skate.
I taught you how to skate?
Remember y'all had that skateboard?
Yeah, I had a skateboard. But am I lying about, then we used to get into fights all the time?
No.
Come on, man. Don't do me that, bro.
No, I fought all the neighbors. You,
Ed. Me and you used to fight, though.
Yeah, I know.
Eric.
Yeah, when it came down to that backyard, let's go.
We had a thing, man. Go to the backyard, man. You go to the backyard, boom, it's over with. We fighting. We fighting in the backyard. But that was some healthy childhood, you know, friendship type stuff, man. These jokers today, man, you get into a disagreement, man, they finna bust your head wide open with. They finna shoot you. You know what I'm saying? You get into a disagreement now.
Don't understand it, man. When you when all you do is you on the internet start with an I. That means basically I control you. But I ain't gonna go too deep in their specifics. But you know, people gotta understand the drop bait from that. You know, they attention. You know, you gotta pay attention. You know, because a lot of people got a short attention span. And outside of you having the shortest attention span, and then the person you raising, your only understanding is gonna be what you see now. Ain't no tomorrow. When today is all you think about, and today is filled up with nothing but misled information, garbage, you know, just constant processing poor.
I've been through a lot, struggled with some things. That's like one problem. Like, that's one thing I talk about. Like, I see that as a problem now, how like somebody my age can tell their parents, oh, I think I'm suffering from depression or something like that, and they'll be like, oh, you too young, you ain't got that. Or if you say you got anxiety, they'll say you too young. But I don't see how they have an age limit to mental illness.
I mean, that's a pretty good statement as you said that. But so what's the overall driving force? What's the energy behind some of your music?
Really just stuff that I go through and keep to myself. Cause I'm one of those people who I don't really talk about my feelings to people, like not even family. So I just put it in my music. So when you do that, there's no face behind it, and like that, it's just, they just listen to it.
So let's talk about that depression thing. You said before that people think that you would be too young to go to a certain thing mentally. with mental illness. So how long have you been suffering for depression is one, and two, is this the only outlet you have to get those situations resolved?
I'd say it started probably like, honestly, it probably started like when I was like a little kid, like when my parents split up, but I didn't really realize it until I was old enough, probably like 8th grade.
And how did that make you feel, your parents breaking up?
I would say it really made an impact on my life because, you know, when parents break up, you know, the kid basically plays like tug of war between the two parents. Like you gotta go with your dad over there, go with your mom over here. So, you know, you kind of really live, like, especially me, it's like I live two different lifestyles. Over there I live, we just gotta make it. And then over here, my dad's like a entrepreneur and stuff, so it wasn't really about making it, it was just, he was already like successful. So it was like I was successful here, not successful there. So I had to alternate.
And so being depressed, you know, what other doors did that open you up to being depressed?
Really? Drugs.
What kind of drugs? Like some hard stuff or just like some kiddie stuff or what type of
I mean, I've tried multiple, really. Started off with weed. You know, eventually, like how most, excuse me for saying, but crackheads, how they start with something, and it's like not strong enough, so you work your way up to something bigger. So I started with weed, and that wasn't working, so I went to Percocets. That wasn't working. I tried Molly, I tried Xanax, and I tried codeine.
But these are all pills, right?
No, yeah, codeine is lean.
Oh, the cocktail juice.
Yeah. You mix that with Sprite.
So was that like the hardest stuff you ever done before? So when you were depressed, not being able to really express, you know, what you was going through to your parents because it could cause, you know, some problems that you probably wasn't ready to deal with. And being sliding into this dark hole, would you consider that place to be a dark place when you was, you know, exploring the depression with the drugs and all that kind of stuff? What are some of the things that you was exposed to when you was doing the drugs and things like that some kids might not, you know or be brave enough to speak their truth? What are some of the things you had to experience like that?
I had to really experience living a lot of my life, like scared, paranoid, trying to like pretend really like I would be feeling some type of way and all that stuff would be going through my head and I'd be like, oh, I hate my life, stuff like that. And then I use drugs and I just be oh, I'm back to normal again. So then when I go home, I'll be cool, joke stuff with my mom and them.
Real quick, because this just came into mind because of the situation with mom and pop. So, as a man, do you feel that bullying or no? I'm gonna keep it real. Bullying is necessary. I'm gonna start with Pat.
When she asking like what kind of situation?
Say you go to school. This you in 5th grade, right? You go to school. You in 5th grade, and I'll use me as an example. And me, I'm frail. I'm dark skinned. I got Arthur glasses, and I wear suspenders. You already know. As soon as I walk into that, as soon as I step foot on those school grounds, what's going to happen with all the other boys? Get your Urkel ass, your Arthur wannabe. So I feel like it's character building, to be honest.
It is. If you raise some boys, like, you know, you'll get boys, he probably was like, what you gonna do about it? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But see, and that's the thing. So back in the day, bullying was like a part of life. You know what I'm saying?
You faced your bully, and that was like your right to manhood. I finally faced my bully, and now I'm a man.
Yup.
But today, man, bullying will cause kids to commit suicide.
I never, and I still don't understand that. Not to say that that's not a serious thing, because it really is. But when and now in this day and age, instead of it being face to face or I'm bullying you because your feet too big, I'm just telling you you look weird over the internet.
Cyberbullying.
Yeah, that's a whole different story though. I mean, it's different like when they're right there in your face. With me, I was a small kid, I always grown up.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, my older sister was 12 years older than me, so it was like, my sister told me if I went to school with somebody, I was fighting with somebody and I got beat, I was getting beat again when I got home.
Yeah, you got to face the fight.
Hey, that's a fact. That's a fact. Don't lose no fight when you walk out this door.
But it's like, I was bullied, man. And I was bullied. So my dad wasn't preaching. Oh, man. My dad taught us to turn the other cheek. This is the most funny, hilarious story. I told this story plenty of times at church. So I was getting bullied by a guy. And I remember coming out of the field, coming out of the gymnasium, and this bully confronted me, right? And he was, I don't know why he didn't like me. I don't know. But the summer gun hit me in my left jaw. Wow. And I'm thinking to myself, turn the other cheek. My dad told me, turn the other cheek. So he gave me instructions, but he didn't tell me why. Look, he told me what to do, but he didn't tell me why to do it. So when he popped me in my left jaw, I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to be like Christ. I'm trying to be like Jesus. What would Jesus do? Turn the other cheek. And I turned the other cheek, and then something hit me in my other goddamn jaw. I'm sitting there, and I got hit in both of my goddamn jaws.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
I really want to fight this kid, but my daddy's saying if I fight him, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I can't dishonor my daddy's name, so I didn't fight this guy. And so I walked away from it, and people look at me like, oh, you just got beat up, you just got punked. But I'm like, man, look, it's not that I could fight. I was told not to fight. At this point, I had started lifting weights in 7th grade. You know what I mean? So I had started coming to my own. I was an ugly duckling in elementary.
Yeah.
See that stick, man? I know you probably got some sentimental value.
Just give it to me. You know, because I handed it to you is why you could have it. Most people I don't let it, you know. That's a powerful thing that I will, so I definitely don't take that lightly.
You know what this remind me of? You remember Moses?
Yes, sir.
Moses was given a staff.
Moses was a messenger.
Yes,
he had a purpose he had to serve.
And he was given a staff, and the overall message of the Moses and the staff is he got more work done with his staff than he did without his staff. And so in business, you need a staff around you to get your work done. And so this is a very interesting stick here.
Appreciate it.
What does this stick mean to you?
So, as I said, I mean, I keep referring to me spreading the message, but that's truly who I am. Like, Lord Fly is who I am. The message never apologize for being dope. It is the message that I spread. From that business group. So, of course, now Lord Fly paints murals. Lord Fly has a book. Lord Fly has these things. But in the beginning, it was me and talking to people, you know, just ensuring that I'm impacting and influencing as many people as possible. So I met a 6'5" Native American man. He had a long gray beard. Gray braid to the middle of his belt. He was at the flea market, NC State Fairgrounds, and he had this laying amongst other things, and I was already in pursuit of a staff, not to carry it every day, but just something in my spirit, something in my energy, to tell me that I may get one. So I'm going to get one. See this one, you know, I'm standing with it for about 10, 15 minutes. Guy comes back, he's like, man, you want that? I was like, man, it's already mine, just tell me what you need for it. Like I came out here for this is it.
there's no conversation needs to be. Just tell me how much, and then he was like, man, I can't sell it to you. So we got a problem because I'm not leaving it without it. And he was like, why? And I told him who I was, what it was about. Like, man, I'm more a philosopher, a message of self-awareness and positivity. This is never apologize for being dope. Learn yourself, know yourself, be yourself. Time is your luxury. Own it, don't waste it. Ensure substance of reason. I'm giving him the spill for about 10 minutes. He was like, wow, man. He's like, so you really want this, huh? I'm like, no, I'm telling you it's mine. Just tell me how much you want for it. And because I'm so eager, don't try to like tell me $2,000 or something. I know that's not the case. He was like, no, I'm not going to do that. He was like, man, that belongs to my best friend. He passed away. I've carried the staff for 4 years now, or at least 5, but this was 5 years ago. So he was saying his best friend passed away 5 years to that date. And he told him he was a minister, and he traveled the world, and it was called for him specifically in Africa. He told his best friend, he was like, man, don't ever sell it, but you will know when you need to give it away. And he met me, and he was like, man, for some reason, I just feel like you're not supposed to leave without this. So I'm going to make sure that you have it. And I told him, like, well, if you give it to me, and we ever meet again, I'll have it. I carry it every day, and I have it. So it's really part of my journey. It's part of my everything that makes me up. So, when I speak of being a messenger or speak to who I am and what I do, is a lot of those experiences that's a story. But if you wouldn't have asked me, I would have told you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, I'm not looking to make something or, make a big deal. That's just the reality of it. But when someone hears it, it's like, man, I really have. It's like, yeah. that's how life goes.
I would like to have one made like that with a lion head or something like that. So somebody who do that kind of work. I mean, that's cool. I want to find somebody to make me one.
Okay, yes, we can definitely make that happen. We can definitely make that. Now it won't be the guy I got this one from. Oh, I have not seen it yet. But in the 5 years that I've carried it, it has created quite a bit of networking, connection, and conversations. So I have come in contact with a few people that make it. Well, because people have tried to, like, man, I'll make you one. Just give me that one. I'll make you a new one. No, you can make me one. I'll keep this one.
I want somebody to make me one.
With a lion head at the top.
Lion head at the top, and then have some different things. Like you got climbed up the side of the wall and stuff like. Because I have a journey. I done been, I done played football. I done been in the military. I done been to prison. I done been inside. I done been inside the actual lion's den. Is where all this come from. When I was in prison, that was the lion's den for me. You know what I mean? And the reason why the lion's den is so significant, if you know the story of Daniel and the lion's den, the king purposely didn't feed the lions for weeks to make sure that they were hungry. And they put Daniel in the lion's den. He had so much faith in God that God shut the mouths of the lions. And the king was so eager to go back to the lion's den the next day to see if Daniel survived, to see, you know what I'm saying? And I can only imagine his face when he saw Daniel kick back on the lions, chilling. And so going through something like going to prison, the system is the lion. And it's supposed to, rip you apart, and people get lost in that system. And so to have that part of my life not destroy me, but it catapulted me into my entrepreneurship. That's why, I say.
People misinterpret my suppression of emotions for not caring.
That's not just you, though, man. I think that's all men in America. We don't operate in emotion. We operate in logic. And I think that women operate in emotion, and women think with their emotions. So it's just because you haven't said anything about it, they think you don't care. When we just processing the situation a little bit different. They process verbally, we process internally. And when we get a solution, it might take us a couple of days, but when we get a solution, then we speak on it versus speaking on it first without thinking about it. Women speak first, think later. Men think first and speak later. And I don't think I think that's like one of the things that I think men struggle with. And women accuse men of not having emotions when it's really emotions, because we process things a little bit different. And so not saying anything can be easily translated in, oh, he don't even care. Or, you're not worried about it. And, if you have ever had any, sleepless nights concerning a situation, that's what makes you a man, to be able to process that thing. And when you speak is when you're ready to make that decision, because you done thought about it, process it, and that's all it is. And how old are you again?
I'm just turning 34 in
34
10
years
days.
old. 34 years old in 10 days. And then my man, you what? 28 years old. And then so I just crossed the 40 threshold a year ago. And so we have 3 different age groups of men here. And I think that we can consistently say that the common denominator in these situations is just the way that men process their emotions versus a woman. And it's just one of those things, I did it with my brother, he got some things, and me and him were so similar, so I can talk about his situation and I can put it in there and make my situation relevant, because the way we process things is the same. Like, you go home, you go away from work all day, you come home, you expect certain things to happen, and when that doesn't happen, you equate that to be, it's just, we process things different, So, but I think it's another thing that I really think that, when you're dealing with those emotions and the kind of how mellow you are. I often tell people that when you're dealing with situations, whether you have a business and you're dealing with employees, you got a bunch of kids. So you don't have any kids, right?
No.
You got your pets, right?
Yeah.
So they're
I got 3. Yeah. Pretty much they're
you're dealing with pet lovers.
They just don't talk, but
You're dealing with pet lovers. You got to be careful not to call a pet lover animal dogs and stuff. And that's their kids. So I know some people that'll fight you over calling their animals, animals. Those are my babies, fur babies, or whatever they want to call them. But you're dealing with people that has different emotions of people, and when you process your anger differently, I often tell people that you have the choice to become a thermostat or a thermometer, and you got to know the difference between the two. A thermostat does what?
Control the temperature.
The thermostat controls the temperature, but a thermometer does what? Tell you the temperature. So when you go into an environment, if it's hostile, you can either be the thermostat or you can be the thermometer. And I believe that a lot of people choose to be the thermometer because they haven't mastered how to be that thermostat. When you go into a hostile environment, the environment should come down to your temperature when you go into a room. I think we was talking about earlier before the cameras came on was this football season. Who y'all been rooting for this season? Who you think is going to go to the Super Bowl?
My team out. Dallas.
Okay, well, hey, I'm on. And you on the same.
Yeah, before I'm different Dallas fan. I've been a Dallas fan since 1983.
Yeah,
I'm none of this 2 years ago, or even back then. I've been for a long time.
Yeah,
so
been rocking with the boys.
I was hoping they was gonna do better, but it's time to get rid of all that money we done gave to Zeke and Dak. They got to go.
I said it from the beginning.
They're not producing.
I didn't think that Zeke deserved all that money they gave him, because as soon as he got it, he laid down.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be, the breakout season for all them boys, man.
For the last 5 years on paper, we have been Super Bowl champions. On paper.
The Cowboys.
On paper. On paper, everybody look at the Cowboy roster and be like, oh, they're going to make it to the Super Bowl.
And they also got the record for the most cheapest team.
You're talking about the Patriots.
Bro,
no,
yeah.
Cowboys.
I heard it on the radio. So you been everything you hear on the radio?
Cheap.
Yeah. Cheating on what?
Who's your team?
He don't have dogs.
How can
but I'm going to go with the Bengals
cheat on calls when they ain't
31 years overdue.
What? The Bengals?
Yeah. I'm going with them just because they underdogs 31 years under.
They're not going to make it, man. Even if they make it to the Super Bowl, they're not gonna win it.
Or they still in the?
Yeah, they play. They get. They got to play Kansas City
Today?
Kansas City.
Why can't the underdog win?
Anybody get past Kansas City?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not gonna beat Kansas City.
With the world upside down, why can't the Bengals win this year?
But they can. But
With the world upside down, why the Cowboys can't win?
Oh,
so we got
with the world upside down.
If they get in there, they cheat. Cause they already out.
Yeah, now it'll be the Donald Trump of the Super Bowl.
Well, I'm going with the
Bengals.
I ain't got a dog in the fight.
Bengals. All right, who you going for, Tonio?
I don't even watch football, brother.
Oh wow.
And then you got the Rams playing San Francisco. Now that's gonna be good.
Who you think gonna win out of that game?
I think San Francisco will win. And even though they say Garoppolo, their quarterback is suck, he get them to the championship game.
I'm feeling a vibe that LA gonna take Rams. And I don't know nothing about it. But I'm just going to go against what you talking about. And say Chargers.
Rams, man. Chargers out. Maybe. Yeah.
Chargers.
You got the LA Rams and the LA Chargers.
See how much I got?
So the Chargers you should know because Tina's son played on the Chargers. He's a running back, Trey. From around here, local dude.
Really? Play for the Chargers?
Yeah, he's running back. He went to school in Raleigh, but his grandmother lived right there across the street from me.
Is he starting? Or
No, he's not starting because they got what's that dude? The Chargers starter, Echo or something. Like he real good, but he plays. He does.
Who do the black men fit to?
Well, I would say really it's nobody because of it's nobody and his vices. Like we all got like a vice. Like a lot of black men will have like a bottle or a blunt or something like it's a vice because when you go to people and you tell them your problems, like you weak. Oh man, what I'm saying? What you crying for, bro? And that's the energy a lot of us get unless you got really good friends. Other than that, it's like nobody. And it's supposed to be your spouse. It's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be your friend.
Yeah, it's supposed to be your significant other, supposed to be your spouse.
But it doesn't always go that way.
Because sometimes when you ask somebody, when somebody says, "Tell me the truth," what does that really mean?
What is that? Yeah.
Because they say the truth hurts.
Yeah.
But they also say the truth will set you free. Yeah. How many people have the truth hurt? How many people have the truth killed? How many people have the truth put into a mental state? And so when you were saying, you're talking to a kid, don't cry. That makes you weak. As a race of people, we've been programmed a certain way.
Yeah.
We've been programmed to complain about, or to vent is to complain, and to complain just makes you weak. But I used to feel a certain way about that, like before.
Yeah.
The older I get, I learned that having strength is not always having everything by yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had to learn from a place of depression that it's okay not to be okay, because that's a part of who we are as people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if you teach somebody that venting is weak or makes you, it's just unfair, because if I'm looked at as being a superhero, but I never tell you what my kryptonite is, and one day all of a sudden the kryptonite is around and I don't know it's around, and all of a sudden I get weak and I just can't function. Like, well, what's going on? I ain't got no power.
Right.
Because I didn't know you had this kryptonite. I don't like that. Why do you think? Well, shoot, I don't want you to know I got a weakness, but I need you to know I got. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's just really important to me that you have not the whole world, but you got to have at least one or two accountability partners that you can go and talk to without it being
without being judged. Because what happens is, for one, as black men, it seems like the world hates black men, hates us, right? So we already got that whole that I got a guard up already. Because if whatever I say is gonna be like I'm looked up on a microscope. Everything I say, it's like people are watching. I'm waiting for me to slip up. So you gotta pretty much, it's like you gotta pretty much know how to like maneuver through that. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't care about how you feel about certain things. You gotta, but it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to get help. It's okay to be. It's like you said, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to go and get that extra boost of whatever you might need, because all the time, you know, growing up, you might not get that same love. So it's okay to get it late. But us as black men, we're afraid to get it because we're going to be judged about it.
Yeah, I found out that the true strength of a man is admitting that you need help.
Yeah.
It was a story of a guy. A guy was with his son, and he never, told his son any of his weaknesses. He used to always just kind of curve the child's question with something else. And so he took his kid to the pool. And the kid wanted to go to the deep end. He said, no, you're not allowed to go to the deep end. You stay down here in, the kiddie pool.
Yeah.
Didn't really tell him why. He just told him what to do. Didn't tell him why to do. So the kid ends up getting a little bit of courage, and he ends up going down to the deep end, and he gets in the water, and he begins to panic, and he begins to drown. Now, the father of this boy was standing on the edge of the pool, panicking. And the lifeguard had to go in there and save him. And when the boy came to, he was like, Dad, why didn't you come and say, why didn't you get in the pool? Why didn't you come and save me?
Yeah, it was supposed to be you to come here.
Yeah, I mean, you were just standing there. I saw you standing there, but you never came to save me. What? Why? And so the man has to tell his son that I can't swim is why I was telling you not to go in the deep end.
Yeah, because you didn't say that.
Didn't say that. Because he felt like it would have made him look less of a superhero if he told his kid that your daddy can't swim. When God was creating the world, he said, let there be. And everything he said just happened by his command of his voice.
Right.
So he created the whole world with his voice. But when it came time for him to create the man, he said, let us create him. And he didn't speak us into it. He actually took his time and he got us out the mud. He dug in the dirt and created the man. So we came out of the mud, bro, from the beginning. And then we've been getting out of the mud ever since. Ain't we? So, you go back to your roots, man. Hey, let's get it out the mud, bro. Because ain't nobody gonna do that for us until we do it ourselves. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, man, where you have to actually just be really serious about what you're doing, because those times when you don't have anybody motivating you,
hey,
what you gotta do?
You gotta get it out the mud. That's the only way.
You gotta get out the mud, and you gotta motivate yourself, bro. Like, you gotta talk to yourself like, hey, man, I will get this done. I will make my mom proud. I will make my kids and my sister, my brother proud, because I came from the mud. And just because I came from the mud don't mean you got a right to treat me like dirt.
Right. Yeah, that ain't what happened.
You know what I'm saying? So, you just got to be really intentional. And so, when we talked before, you know what I'm saying, we had a long conversation, man. I really feel like that conversation that we had in the office, man, was really a is what really bonded us together.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And we talked about a couple different things, and one of the things that you was really passionate about was mental health.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And how that plays a part. So, what's your story dealing with mental health, and who do you know right now that's currently doing bad and needs, like, tell me about your experience, with mental health.
Well, honestly, man, I didn't really get into the whole mental health thing until I came to college, but everybody has their own story, things they deal with that kind of, affect them in a certain way. Like I told you, my mother, she passed when I was at 10, but even before that, it was certain things that were going on in, the household and the community, the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And like when you're seeing so much stuff so early on, like you're just watching it go by, like you're not actually understanding how it's affecting you and how it's going to affect you later on when you're an adult. So when I get to school, at Central, they have like a therapy department in student health. So I was going to go, see therapists from time to time throughout my school, my tenure at Central. And yeah, man, I was just finding so much more about like why I was the way I was and why I thought about things the way that I did, and how I, it was actually beneficial for me to actually talk that stuff out, because you never really know how much trauma really plays a part in the way that you go about your day-to-day life, and honestly your health too, like physically, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm a really big like person on, like taking time to really, take care of your mental, like your emotional stability and stuff like that. I encourage people to go to therapy all the time. I encourage people to look into music therapy, you know what I mean? Look into counseling and meditation, yoga, stuff like that. Like,
and you just hit it on the head, man. Like, we've had more conversation about mental health on this show than any other topic. And one of the things is what you said was we encourage people to get counseling. Mm-hmm. Now, as a African American man growing up in South Mississippi, being from where I'm from, black men don't take too kindly to being counseled and things like that, because we feel like it's a sign of weakness, because we grew up knowing that, look, you don't show no sign of weakness, you just whatever you need, you push past whatever's going on, and you become more mentally strong when you don't let excuses get in your way, and we don't let these emotions get in your way. But as I got older and I'm more mature as a man, I'm learning more and more now that it's okay to not have all the answers.
Right.
It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to tell people, look, I'm not good, because, dealing with the Olympics with Simone Biles, and then you got the tennis player who bowed out mental health and all that kind of stuff. And you got more people stepping up saying, look, I'm not good, man. I mean, people put too much pressure on you to be something that you are, but like you have to move at the speed of you. If you're not ready to do this, then don't let me get into the groove, because if I go in the air and I got the twisties, I forget why I'm in the air, where I'm at, and I lose spot. That could kill me. I'm not going to let nobody put in a position where I got to perform at your level and I'm not ready, and because I got something going on back home, or because I got something going on, like my mental need a break from being great. Sometimes I need to be able to just say, I'm not good today. Or maybe, I don't want to be, the great leader. Let me just be, a follower. Let me, because if you are a leader, you have to have a leader.
Right, yeah.
Because your leadership have to get leadership from somebody else. You have to have that place where you can say, let me get my head together and all that kind of stuff. So it's funny that you say what you said, about encouraging people to go get counseling. Get yourself checked out, man.
Yeah, sure.
If you driving a car that's the computerized car, and that when the chips in the computer go bad, it'll lock the whole car up. Because that chip made something, got a glitch in it. And so if you got a glitch in your system, or if you got a mental glitch, then ain't nobody gonna be able to be beneficial to you. If you actually, got some stuff on them. So take the time.
Good. For real.
Man, take the time. You're actually away from your support system, You'll become weak, and he's going to pick off the weak ones first. Make you think that, oh, I can do this all by myself. I don't need no help. I can do it all by myself. And when you think in your mind, I can do it by myself, go off on your own, the devil comes to attack you while you're off by yourself. So understand that once you complete that mission, and once you're able to defeat the enemy in that area, you will be promoted to the next level. That's how God uses enemies to actually help you. Matter of fact, the enemy fights against you. If you're not fighting, if you're not sparring or practicing, then you're not going to be ready to when the fight starts. But just like I said last week on the show, when I was talking about Deion Sanders had a whole bunch of highlights. He said, those are not my highlights. My highlights happened when the cameras was not on. So you practice for war in a time of peace. You have to always remember that. Practice for war in a time of peace, or prepare for war in a time of peace, so that when the war happens, you done already been practiced and prayed up to actually defeat that enemy, and you get elevated to the next level and promoted. And that's what the purpose of the enemies are. And understand that when I talk about your support system, stay close to your support system, because that's how you become stronger. You got people that encourage you. The Bible says that we'll overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimony. So when you're not performing, like, what music inspires you to get to what you're trying to do?
Man, okay, so it's a list, brother. Joyner Lucas, you got Kanye West, you got Wiz Khalifa, you got Lil Wayne, you got Drake. I mean, J. Cole. That's my guy. I always wanted to make a song. Yeah, I had a dream I was on my way to heaven. When I woke, I spent that on my necklace. Like, this bit right there is just
what's the cost and the mission to go to heaven? You know, last time you was here, you know, you did mention that you're working on some projects and everything. Upcoming projects. What are you working on currently? What are you working on in the future? And when can we expect to hear some of these new projects that you're working on?
All right, so I've got one song right now that I'm working on. Well, I ain't gonna say one song because I actually got multiple songs that I'm working on, but I got one of them dropping actually on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. I'm actually gonna drop it tonight on this show. Mm-hmm. So it's called Dear God.
Okay.
So it's kind of, you know, that I'm pulling from, like, I see a lot of people that's coming at me from a bunch of different ways. But I'm like Jesus on the cross. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dear God, please forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Okay. Antonio, how do you respond to those people who...
I give them something to watch. I give them something to look at.
Okay, relaxing. Put on your seatbelts. Make sure they fasten. Cut my locks. Shit got me feeling like I'm Samson. I'm eating, no time for fasting. You beating me, not even by your fraction. If this shit fire, I'm the dragon. No time for bragging. I'm here to...
Some insight on how you feel about, you know, just having people in your life, men that you talk to on a daily basis, to have them able to check on you. How do you feel about that?
Well, for the most part, you know, I have you, of course, my dad, older cousin, that always call me, you know, for whatever, just to shoot BS, whatever. And it don't take much. If you know what somebody's going through, sometimes all it takes is a phone call to make them feel better.
Man,
you never know how deep in the trenches they really are.
That's crazy, man, because I say all the time, man, that one of the problems of being, you know, a lion, or being a leader, is nobody ever stopped to see the lion's okay. There's been plenty of times where it's just in the dumps, man. It's just a text or a phone call was all I needed to just change my perspective, because it lets you know that people are generally concerned about you. Because one thing about being in the business of servitude, you service people's cars, so you are in service. People love to support you when they know that they got something they can get from you.
Right. That's absolutely right.
But when you ain't got nothing for them, how many of those people actually call on your phone and say, I don't need anything, I just want to make sure that you're okay? And a lot of times, The reason why we're unfulfilled in our life is because we treat God the same way. Only time we pray, talk to God, when we asking for something. So do you feel that men should support each other in areas that people feel like, you know, men should be able to suck it up?
Speaking for myself only, I don't really let too many things get to me because of my faith in God. So I haven't been in that situation to where, you know, just suck it up. I put things in God's hands, and I let Him help me. He's gonna show me the way.
Besides all the other stuff that you do, the producing, the performing act, what are some of the other talents that you have as well?
I would think one of my superpowers is the facilitating, as far as just getting people together, and what gifts that I have around that, I'm still exploring, but facilitating and being able to set people up based on what I see their talents to be. And there have been times where I think I believed in somebody else's ability more than them, and being able to put them in a position where they're able to show that and grow in that. So facilitation, I think that's a superpower. Like I said, I'm Nick Fury. That's what I believe. If I was on the Avengers,
Nick Fury, yeah.
I'm Nick Fury. I'm facilitating. I'm not going to be the one right there on camera fighting in every scene. I'm not going to have my shine too much. But you're going to know when I have my little pop-up, it's like, okay, so he was somewhere. You know what I'm saying? He did something. He was the guy that, and it's ironic, like Nick Fury, he had one eye, but he had enough vision to facilitate 6, 7, 8 people. So that's the difference between his sight and his vision. Like, he had vision, and I see myself as a visionary. And so I'm able to facilitate with that vision. And I think that one eye, that handicap, I have my one solid handicap, and I'm dealing with that now, but it, you know, it don't stop my vision, and that's just the beauty of it.
So it's ironic you said that about being a visionary and being a music producer, because you're able to visualize some of the notes that you're hearing and what you're putting together. But how does that relate to you in the aspects of becoming a director of a video or a movie? Do you have any of that inside you?
Like I said, I'm still exploring, but what I can do, like 50 Curtis Jackson said, I didn't go to Harvard, but people that work for me did. So being able to have, like, to know what fits where, when, you know, so like Antonio being somebody I went to college with, and he's somebody who does video, but being able to kind of, you know, bounce ideas off and being say, you know, some people, they're not, well, I would say for me, as far as me knowing what to do with music, the way that I work with artists that's best for me anyway is that when a person has a vision, and then I can just kind of bring in what they vision. So usually I bring a vision to somebody and to be able to have somebody else around, knowing how to outsource.
Beats, bring the heat, baby!
What's your specialty? Alright, well, I go by the name Ampersand right now. I'm basically a music producer and artist in the area. And you can find me on IG at Amper, AUMPUR _sand.
Right now, man, free.
Man, no, I'm feeling good, man. Like I feel like what King is about to bring to the stage is like, it's gonna be something real, something that people really need. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's kind of what we need more in the world. I mean, I know stuff that y'all doing.
Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and Durham.
Everybody know who you are, man.
Hey, what's going on, brother? Soulful Purpose, Soulful Designs. And I feel amazing,
man. Where you at right now?
I feel amazing, brother. I'm ready to rock this crowd, brother.
Yeah. Got some real vibes, like I'm feeling some Wu-Tang Clan type vibes.
Sitting in my therapy chair, I told the monsters ain't no scaring me here. All these things that I fear, getting sent to the rear. Don't tell me how I should feel, just let the fiction begin. Just let the fiction be. Trust. Thrown together, there's 5 expensive letters. Barely shared between the likes of debtors and debtors. For better or for worse, it's currently the currency that carries the equity in everything we believe. Earnestly. If shorty up, inspired my phone, what's the use of sharing this wood with her? That's spirit speech. For me, I'm flesh most. I don't get that shit to text anybody. And I don't give a fuck how you feel about it. I'm cutting you in by cutting you wild. It's going wild. I'm gonna build around me. Sky's the limit. That's why ain't no sinners running. You say you better than me. I really doubt it. Cause I know how to get to it. Down the law with us. What have you in some shit? Young boy ain't good. I can't say that. I don't take this over that.
It was a very good performance, man. Like top 5 performances that I've seen in my life, and that's saying something really, really strong. But if you are interested in being part of the show, you can email me at insidetheden43@gmail.com. Send me your information on your business and your topic, and if you are looking for some endorsements, send me a t-shirt so I can rock it on the show. Adults, no one really gets the perspective of a kid, what a kid goes through. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
One of my daughters is 13 years old, and the only president, well, the first president she ever knew in her life was Barack Obama.
That's what's up.
So when she say, when they go through this little thing, oh, your first, all the presidents you've been in, you know, being alive with throughout the years, you say, oh, your first president you remember as a kid was black man. So that's her, like, that's her understanding of the world. Like, born right now, she can't go anything about segregation and racism. All she knows is, well, when I was born, it was a black president, so what's wrong with the black people? So she wouldn't know the other side of that story.
Kind of good.
You know what I mean?
It's kind of good.
But
the world changing.
That's hopeful, because you know, in the next couple of years, the next couple of generations from now, man, what are we going to be as a people?
We should be a whole lot better. I'm praying that happens. I really do.
Girl, I see you on your grind, always working overtime. Made me wanna make you mine, cause you know you super thick, and you know you super fine. Michelle Obama in a prime, and you always kept it solid, never ever crossed the line. Real niggas recognize, that's why I keep you by my side, why I keep you motivated, keep that twinkle in your eye. Plus you know that pussy fine, but you keep it on the low, you ain't flexing for the... Girl, I see you on your grind, always working overtime. Made me wanna make you mine, cause you know you super thick, and you know you super fine. Michelle Obama in a prime, and you always kept it solid, never ever crossed the line. Real niggas recognize, that's why I keep you by my side, why I keep you more.
I DJ or make beats, but I ask a question, they telling me in riddles, but then when you do figure it out, it really was a straight answer. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I definitely would like to start some type of school and give people straight answers. Don't give it to them in a riddle, because now that I look up back, it was just pure hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, now look, we got YouTube, we got all these, Google.
Man, we on here for a very special, you in for a treat. We here for a very special reason, brother. Tell everybody, what do you do for a living?
All right, so what I do for a living, I'm actually a digital entrepreneur. And actually, you know, I'm mostly invested into the Forex side of trading. And essentially what Forex trading is trading foreign currencies in exchange for the fluctuation of the price. So based off the fluctuation of prices in the market, that's how I'm making profit, just, you know, trading those different fluctuations.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit about your upbringing. You said you're from Virginia, but you were born in Smithfield, North Carolina.
I grew up in Smithfield.
Okay, so how did that work? Like, how was your childhood?
So as far as my childhood was actually pretty, I can't complain, it was pretty good. My mother just worked all the time, and she still works all the time to this day. So growing up in an environment where, you know, you have your family members around, but your mother's consistently working, it's like you always have the support of her, but she's not always around as much. So with her always working so much, like, my main goal growing up was always like, I gotta get my mom to stop working so much. Like, day and night, she come home, sleep 2-3 hours, like, go right back to work. So like, seeing that all the time and seeing how much, like, that really put on her, she's never gonna show it, because you know how
we want to talk about is, what's your biggest concern about mental health?
Within our community, I would say my biggest concern, and when I say our community, I mean black men. I would say my biggest concern is the availability for identifying it and treating it. That's my biggest concern.
So how would you identify with somebody dealing with mental health?
I think a lot of times with, instead of being a blanket, and I'm not a professional, but I think it takes someone with life experiences to specifically and very in a detail-oriented way identify an issue well enough to treat it.
I think that, and when it comes down to being an expert or something, I believe that the best experts are the ones that have dealt with that themselves. Because you can tell when someone's lying to you about something because you know what you went through. And I the whole situation with Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars, man. We're going to talk about that. And I want this to be the last time we talk about it. But what are your thoughts on that scenario, brother?
It's a lot of that.
This is for married couples, single black men, whatever men, period. If you was born a man or a woman, you need to hear this right here.
I will tell you, I think it's unfortunate how Will handled that situation. I think there's on a lot of levels. I think Will, if you look at just everything that happened and how it happened, Will may have been coerced into doing something that he didn't want to do. Indirectly, perhaps, but I look at the response and the reaction, and to be completely honest with you, Will's reaction, if it was a knee-jerk reaction that didn't look like it involved any real processing, I may have looked at it a little different. But it looked like Will initially with the joke. It looked like Will laughed.
Yeah.
And it looked like Will.
He's a comedian.
He's a comedian.
Yeah.
He's an actor. They are all actors. And it looks like Will got some immediate enjoyment, even if it was uncomfortable or whatever. And even the initial or his follow-up response of keep my wife's name, that would have been appropriate as a knee-jerk reaction. But it looks like what Will did was almost enjoy, like everyone else who laughed or even gasped or whatever. He took in the response, and then he got feedback from his wife, his significant other, and we had discussed a little bit earlier. There's that unwritten and unmentioned communication that you get from your significant other when you know it's time to move. It's time to stop. It's time to do whatever.
Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Something crossing the line. It's a look. Yeah,
hey, man. Hey.
Or something that I know right now you're a personal trainer. I know you got some other things that you do as well. But how long you been doing training work and stuff like that? How did you get started in this field?
So I've been doing it 8 years. I've been lifting for 18 years. So I actually got into the fitness side. I want to say around 2015. So it's a difference between lifting and fitness.
Yes, there's a very big difference.
It's a big difference. Because whenever you change your nutrition up versus you just eating sloppy, going in there hitting it hard or whatever, it's a difference. It's a difference in your body or whatever. I can tell. I breathe better. I got a different walk, smaller waist, more definition in the muscles. So yeah, it's a totally different experience from fitness to lifting. So
what made you make the switch from the fitness to lifting to fitness? Because I've been lifting since I was 11, 12 years old.
Right.
But it was only until I actually went into the Marine Corps and I learned how to actually, lift and eat and do the nutrition thing. So what made you make the switch?
So I kind of got like, once I was introduced to it and got a better understanding of it or whatever, my son's mother, she was the one that actually showed me the proper and correct way how to like work out, because I wasn't working out. So basically, I was working out with an older guy, like we like call him OGs in the gym and stuff like that. And I was taught like to work only upper body, so I wasn't working my lower body or whatever. So I was like 50 Cent up here.
It's like that jigsaw routine right there.
Yeah, with chicken legs down or whatever.
Swollen and stuff. They got bird legs, man.
Tearing up fried chicken and everything. Anything I can eat. You talk about like, yeah, like they want nothing to go in the gym and hit like 305, 315, like they want nothing. But I was small, like from the waist down or whatever. It was big in here, so I couldn't wear shorts. Wow.
Now, remember, this was, long time ago, man. I was 9th grade, and I was, going to school, and they actually had me working out with the seniors and the juniors, right. And I was in this 1,000-pound club. I think it was called 1,000-pound club or whatever, or something like that. But man, my very first experience with lifting heavy weights was I was 16 years old working out with these upperclassmen, and I'm always wanting to keep up with them. And I want them to have to change their weight for me.
That's how it started.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how it started.
When you work with somebody, you got to change the weight for them. Like, man, you need to get on our page or go to another doggone workout group. So I was in this doggone with these guys, man. With me, Eddie Hartwell. If you're watching Eddie Hartwell, much love to you. Me, Eddie Hartwell, and a couple of other guys, and they got me on that squat rack, man. And I didn't know how strong I was in that way, because I had never, like in 9th grade, they don't push you to actually like really lift. You just lifting just to be lifting. In high school, it's all intentional, right? And I squatted 500 pounds at 16. And when I went down the first time, the coach said, you need to hit the bucket, get in the bucket. So he got a chair and put it underneath me and made me do it again. But the way I felt the first time, I felt like I had used every muscle in my body to get that weight up, and having to do it again, man, that feeling was a feeling that was extra in my body. I'll never forget how that felt to lift that weight. That's heavy. The bar was.
I'm talking about fighting for real.
Yeah,
divorces.
but
they got more divorces in this pandemic.
Exactly.
Y'all.
But you know what? Sometimes the pandemic, if you stay by yourself, the pandemic was probably the best thing. You save money.
Yeah.
You save money.
Listen. Hell, talk about it. Talk about it. Say that hour drive to work every day. You know what I'm saying? A lot came with the pandemic, didn't it?
You got to cuss out no coworkers or nothing.
The road rage, all of that, right?
Yeah, kids go to school online. They be in their room, close the door. Man. You just have to remember you can't walk around the house half naked while they at school.
You be like, y'all, this ain't break time. I get some clothes on, mama. Put some clothes on.
Mamas don't walk behind the kid in school online on Zoom.
That was one way I found. That was one way I found out how to get rid of my son.
They had one video that went viral where a kid was doing his work and his mama walked in the background, but in the background.
Yes.
Right there on live.
Yep, she bent all over. Showed all her sunshine.
Yeah, that was something. Talked about that.
Yeah. But so during the pandemic, a lot of people had a lot of unfiltered, a lot of depression going on, and me being, in the light that I'm in, trying to, have a platform where people can come, men can come and talk to each other, because that black men don't believe in therapy. But when we hanging around our homeboys, our homies, we talking, might be in a man cave, we might be somewhere intimate. Then we'll start to tell each other our differences, our issues, and we have a conversation.
But see, I think with men, we just don't like the terms therapy.
Yeah, I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it.
We go to the barber shop, we talk shop. We talk about things in the shop, but we don't necessarily call it therapy.
Exactly.
And then let me ask you this here, men. Why is that word so terrifying?
Because in order to to agree to go to therapy, you have to identify that you have a problem.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And nobody wants to be identified as having a problem.
And men we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to open up. We don't.
So you don't want to lay on the couch and start talking.
When you start opening yourself up to telling people your stuff, then people have the ability to judge you. And you start giving them your secrets and all this stuff, and then people, they treat you different and everything.
Yeah, but the HIPAA law, so if you repeat it and that's the clock rolling and shit, time ticking, and you got the clock going, and you told it to them, and then they repeat it, what can happen.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I don't think I would be feeling a certain kind of way. I think if I needed some therapy, I'd be trying to get some help, because ain't nothing like being out of place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's one thing that we're working on as men, to try to change the narrative on that. And so I'm trying to make talking cool again. Not using the word therapy. But inside the den, this is a place, a platform for men to come in and maybe can be judgment free. I thought it was at 10 by now, though.
Yeah, I thought they raised it up. I know it is in certain places. It is higher up.
Something on the news today that was talking about it. It was 725.
I know you laugh.
I said, good gracious.
They ain't expecting you to you gonna forever crawl then, ain't we?
That's it.
Hey,
well,
$7?
Entrepreneur, you got to be, creative and innovative and come up with something.
You can't even get a Happy Meal for $7.
You barely get a
you barely nothing. The price that went up on everything.
Talking about egg shortage, so now
everything.
You got gas, chickens, milk. Yeah, the chickens. I can't eat chickens like I used to. The eggs. I mean, you're gonna have to make some life decisions.
Oh yeah, some life decisions. You can't be vegan because it costs too much to be vegan now.
It costs too much.
Yeah, I mean that vegan food is sky high. The fat food is the one that's cheap.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's unhealthy. That's
something. Or have done something that people can come back 20, 25 years in a whole nother generation.
Still be laughing.
Be like, man, he was on the show.
Comedy is timeless, though.
It
man.
is.
Comedy is timeless.
Just television. I'm doing a movie now called Release. It's a SAG film. And one of the ladies, a Hollywood actress who she was on the Martin Show, or as a matter of fact, one of my favorite episodes, she was on the Martin Show, and she actually was did this movie called South Central with Glenn Plummer, and it was Deuce.
Oh yeah, South Central.
Yeah.
So who was the one we talking about?
Her name is Loretta Shelby.
What episode on Martin?
No, this was South. Oh, Martin. She was the one where she was Sister Real. Where she was talking about she being real, telling Gina how to be real and all that, and then Martin they pulled out all her long hair, put out all that fake.
She was on South Central.
She was, as a matter of fact, she was OG Bobby Johnson's baby mama. And I got a picture with her, but we was on set, and I just noticed how great of an actress she was. We was doing, didn't have to do many takes. She didn't flub her lines. I mean, she did all her stuff, and I was like, I seen her somewhere before. And I pulled her to the side. I said, I've seen you somewhere before. Where are you? And she said, well, I'm probably more known on South Central. And I was like, you know how we do.
Go Google it, yeah.
And I Googled and said, wow, that is her, Okay, it was. And she said, that movie was groundbreaking. And I was like, wow. And she was like, yeah, it's still going strong out there in L.A. People love that movie,
So, yeah, and Jay Durrell, Daniel has a lot that he's been into as well, as far as comedy too, as movies too. So you got a list of them. Go and run it down, Jay Durrell.
I'm still waiting. Hopefully we're trying to pitch. We have a series called the Wicked series. I played the lead in that, and we broke it down to every episode. It leaves a cliffhanger. So that very next, you're going to want to see the second part. And then after you see the second part, it's going to leave another cliffhanger. You're going to want the third one. So we did three of them.
You working on yourself? Or
no, we already did it. It's already, we had it for a few years. But what's
the name of it?
The Wicked series.
Yeah, man, no worries, man. Like I say, it was definitely, I was excited when I connected with you on Facebook and all that, man. But so tell me, what have you been up to in the last 5 years, man? What you been up to?
Man, it's been a journey. Like last time we met, of course, I had my oldest son. He's 5 now, but he was about probably 8 or 9 months at the point in time. So. We was working on AT&T or whatever the case is. So between then,
DirecTV, AT&T,
yeah.
We was going door to door.
Yeah, we was in these streets,
knocking on the doors, trying to get people set up for DirecTV and AT&T, man.
And we were flourishing too. Don't just like out there. So 9 times out of 10, y'all probably seen me out there in y'all neighborhood. I just had shorter hair. But between that time frame and now, man, just honestly just perfecting my craft is being I wouldn't even say salesman. It's being an influencer.
You're an influencer.
I would say that because.
Well, you still consider the salesman because even as an influencer, you got to sell yourself.
I mean, yeah, that is true.
And what are some current events that's going on in your life right now? New up and coming events, projects, and things like that you got going on?
Right now, like I stated, I'm trying to get into stop motion photography or stop motion animation. So right now, I'm actually in the recording process of starting my own series with my with the toys that I do have in the house. The name of the whole concept is just called Cross Reality. Basically, because I'm getting figures from, like right now, my section of figures is like I have Transformers and I have another set of robots. 2 of them are like they're big, like everybody loves Transformers that love Transformers, and everybody loves these anime robots that love them. So nobody would think to see these 2 together. Just like nobody would.
Stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Yeah. I'm a lion and ain't nothing but anything. We on fire and my brothers, they on fire too. And we'll fight for each other, that's what lions do.
Progression of the team is the purpose of our devotion. You can see that we've been working and really having some motion. None of it was given, you know that we had to hustle. And that's just how it is when you coming up out the struggle. They say it takes a village when you raising a child. And they all turn into your family after a while. We gotta feed into each other, show love to one another. Not a race, but I know we can all finish the mile. When we step up in the den, you letting go of your past. You the only person that can really hold yourself back. The pride and strength of a lion is truly a match. Everybody has it when you a part of the pack. Now this ain't the type of place that'll judge you for who you are. We just get you on your way to becoming a superstar. I told you once before and I can tell you again. Come and join the brotherhood if you really just trying to win. What's up?
Brothers need to stick together. As a team we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel. Just tell me if it's real. Brothers need to stick together. As a team we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel.
Tell me how you feel.
Just tell me if it's real.
Tell me how you feel. Side of the den, one minute.
May I introduce myself?